Alright, what is up? It's the last war of Season 19, War 12. We're up against New Nation. Not sure how they're doing this season. I haven't really been paying much attention, but they finished second in War last season. Very good alliance. We know that this is going to be a really tough matchup. So let's go in and check out my paths. I will be on path 6 in section 1. Here I've got Aggression, Fury, and Strike Back, Clairvoyant. I'm going to be using my rank 3 Captain America for that fight. They are running Stubborn, but she doesn't benefit from that tactic. And then this is Power Focus 1, Power Alternator. Juggernaut does benefit from the Stubborn tactic, but I'm going to be using Captain America for this, and I can just block everything. I'm not worried about this. And then in section 2, I'm going to be taking a path you guys have seen me take a few times this season, path 3. And here we have a Hulkbuster on the Armor Thorns. I'm going to be using Clairvoyant for that fight. And I'm going to be able to nullify his armor at the beginning of that fight. And then the plan is just to stay in the blood curse so that I'm bleed immune the whole time. And to avoid taking shocks from him on my critical hits. I just want to keep the armor ups off of him entirely. So I'm going to be using, Mystic Boost for that fight, Mystic Special Boost, and I want to recycle my SP2 in Blood form. That'll keep me topped off on my health with the regen, and it'll also inflict buff immunity against him, so he won't be able to proc that armor up so that I don't have to worry about the shock damage. And then here we have Man-Thing. He also benefits from Stubborn, and I'm going to be using Quake in this fight. I'm just going to do parry-style Quake. And then, obviously, Quake will be a decent option as backup for this Wasp, although backup won't be needed. Bryn's going to be taking that fight. And then that is most likely it for me this war. So that's it. Let's go ahead and join up. I always get super nervous about this part because the begin button is right there, and even though you have to confirm your team, I'm just always terrified that I'm going to accidentally push a button and join with the wrong team and screw everything up. So there you guys can see my war team. Dr. Doom, rank 3 Dr. Doom, rank 3 Captain America, and my 565 Clairvoyant. I do have a rank 2 Unawakened Clairvoyant, who has slightly higher attack and health, and the adrenaline healing, which would be pretty nice. Maybe I should bring her. Just for adrenaline only. Her signature ability doesn't really matter that much. It could potentially keep me alive under very specific circumstances. But if I'm at a point where I need that signature ability, I'm in deep trouble. And I'm only going to be using her for that Hulkbuster fight, so I'm going to go with the 6-star versions that I can get that adrenaline healing if needed. And the PI on my champs is so low just because of my defense build. Obviously, Arena started today, and I just wanted to, I didn't want to throw on Suicides to do an Arena round and then take them off for War Attack. But in Section 2, maybe for this whole war, I'm not really sure, I haven't decided yet. I will be running Suicides of some sort in this war, but definitely for Section 2, I'll be running at least the Bleed Suicide. So, alright, joining, begin, and let's go ahead and move to Claire, and then I'm going to back out and do my fights a little bit later when I've got full energy. There we see Lags cleared his fights, got to use Red Guardian on Dormammu, very cool. Make sure, alright, I always want to make sure So got through those fights, and he is off to a family vacation. So his war is very likely over. He just had the 2 fights. So anyway, that's it. I will see you guys in the fights. Okay, what's up? So, remember that part, like literally 60 seconds ago in this video where I said that I was always concerned about joining with the wrong team? Well, I did. I'm a complete moron. I was talking about, during the scouting phase, using Quake for Man-Thing, and then I get to the team portion just before you join, and I'm like, yeah, so I'm going to be bringing my war team, rank 3 Dr. Doom, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so Dr. Doom is completely useless for my fights. I mean, I could use him as backup for some of these fights that I'm using Captain America for. But, yeah, I mean, I don't even know how that happened. That's the first time that has happened in a very, very long time. And to be completely honest, I think I was a little distracted just by talking out my plan. But look, I just talked through this entire Captain America fight. Very, very easy. Just parry, blaster, she dead. And that Quake issue is really not going to come up until that Man-Thing fight. I'm going to have to make an adjustment. I was going to use Quake. She would have made that fight just completely easy. But now I'm going to have to use Clairvoyant, which means I'm going to have to deal with Mystic Dispersion. I'm going to have to keep poisons off of me. It's just going to be a lot more complicated. So I'm just an idiot. Here's another fight. This fight is super, super easy. I've been working on my reparries, and I tried to get off a couple reparries, but he decided to throw the heavy regardless. Doesn't matter. Captain America does not care. Very, very easy fight. All right, so here is the first difficult fight of my war. It's not really that difficult with Clairvoyant, but I am going to throw on some nice boosts here. So again, at the start of the fight, I'm going to start with Clairvoyant's charges. You guys can see those underneath my health bar, the ones that have the little mystic emblem on them. If I have at least one of those, then my next basic attack is going to automatically nullify a defender buff. What I want to do in this fight is I want to keep armor buffs off of him. Now the reason is, since his rework, every time he has an armor and you crit him, if he has an armor buff up and you crit him, he will inflict shock on you. It also has other effects such as making his specials unblockable, but if you're trying to get him to recycle his L1s, it doesn't really matter. You just need to make sure that you're dexing his L1s. And then the other thing is, once I throw my SP2, as you guys can see underneath this health bar, that little star shield thing, that's buff immunity. So during that period, he cannot gain any buffs. I just want to stay in Blood Curse, and I want to keep recycling my SP2 to keep that armor off. Throwing my own SP2s is going to help me regenerate based on the damage I deal with my SP2. So Clairvoyant, just in general, is a really good option for this node. And frankly, I don't know if there's any defender that she cannot take on this node. This node really only applies to defenders that have an active armor up buff. And to my knowledge, there aren't any science champs that have that. So that might be the only issue for her. But regardless, she gets through that. So here we've got the unfortunate matchup of Clairvoyant, who, look, Claire can definitely do this fight. It's unfortunate because this fight's going to be more complicated with Claire than it would be with Quake. So my plan here, as you guys can see, I ended my first combo with a light attack to switch into the poison curse. The reason I'm doing that is just to avoid any issue with his poison. It also allows me to power drain him on my own SP2s. So I'm just going to stay in that curse the entire fight, and I'm just going to keep recycling my SP2s so that I can keep him power drained. Really, the only concern in this fight is when those postules expire for him to get Mystic Dispersion. Now this is the first time. My first time rewatching this fight since I took it, and it has been a couple days. It doesn't actually look like he has Mystic Dispersion. I'll try to notice a little bit better, but obviously he is indestructible. That's not really a big deal because I can just parry him on this node. But as you guys can see, I mean, the strategy is very, very simple. Because I am running suicides here, I'm losing quite a bit of damage to recoil. Basically, all of my lost health is because of recoil, but I'm able to... I switched to Incinerate phase just so I can get him down a little bit faster at the end there once I realized that the fight was in hand. But so that'll actually be my entire war for this video. No more fights. I had a couple people provide me some videos that I could include, but this video is already over 10 minutes long, so I'm going to go ahead and leave those out. Here are the cards for this war. This is the final war of the season. Bring with the silver card, his third consecutive card, and FaZe from BG1 with the gold card. He had an awesome war. And then here are the second half Paragon cards. There's one from each battle group, and if you guys missed earlier in the season or the stream before the season when I talked about what these are, these members are not in the top 8 in PR, and one from each battle group is chosen by their officers for each half of the season. So Hinach had the BG1 Paragon card for the second half, PWF for BG2, and then our boy Pete in BG3. But look, that's the video, pretty brief. I'll have another video with the season rewards posted here tomorrow, and leave a like and a comment. Let me know what you guys thought of this war, and let me know what you guys think that I'm going to get for my season rewards. Alright, I appreciate you guys watching. Take care.